Go ahead.
So it seems like the magic of childbirth strikes again. How proud are you for a guy like Geeks?
Yeah, good, great for he and his wife, and obviously exciting day. Good for them, and we're all very happy for them, obviously.
What's your takeaway for the first 3 games of this series?
Well, series is at 2-1. Got an opportunity to even it up tonight. That's the long and short of it, right? That's the way a playoff series are. We're into the meat of it right now. Everybody knows the opponent pretty well both ways. We've got a pretty clear picture of the things that we need to do to be a little better than we were the other night. A little disjointed the other night, so get back at it tonight and get in there and work to even up this series.
More on Geeks just coming back in the lineup since he had a good April and you had him up there with Schwartz and Lindbergh. Can you talk about his play?
Well, he's jumped into that spot on and off. We've obviously mixed and matched, over the last couple of months, trying to find the right fit there. And there's a couple different players that bring different elements into that spot. And Morgan has done a nice job there. He has good chemistry. In particular, he's got chemistry down below the goal line with Schwartz. He can add, some of that heaviness to that line, some puck possession to that line, all the while being able to, make plays. And we've seen him finish a few times as well. So he's an important piece. He fits well with that line. We'll need him to be at his best tonight.
You mentioned getting into the meat of the series and knowing your opponent. How much can that help a team that has not played in the playoffs together? How much can that settle them down a little bit, maybe?
We don't need to be settled. That's non-factor that this team hasn't played in the playoffs before together. Absolute non-factor. We got good veterans in there. Guys have been through this before. We've been a good team throughout the year, and we know what our formula is. We didn't play to that the other night. So I'll give them credit. Their pace, their speed, their top guys were real good the other night. We didn't make it nearly hard enough for the consistency and the through the meat of that hockey game. You look at the middle of that hockey game before we had the couple quick ones, felt like we were chasing the game, not playing the way we play. So got to get back to it, and that's it. That's the long and short of it. It's not real complicated. It's a great opportunity tonight to get back at it.
How tough is it to maintain that style game after game, just focus-wise, mentally, and physically, the style that your team plays, the relentless forecheck?
Well, if you want to win, that's what you do. Bottom line, it's difficult to win at this time of year. It's supposed to be, but it's also you build your game throughout the year, make some tweaks, make some adjustments during the series, which we've talked about each and every game. Trying to make a few adjustments, but at the heart of it, you gotta be pretty comfortable in your own skin, and then you got to go do it at a high level, or else you don't give yourself a chance to win. So, we felt like coming out of the game, it was almost a hard game to evaluate walking out of it because of the ebbs and flows of it. But in reality, when you really look at the hockey game and evaluate, just from my standpoint, we just weren't good enough, from our own standards. So really that's a couple of the things that we've talked about quickly here today. How do we get back to that and get back to it for the entire hockey game?
What did you see early? It looked like midway through the first period, the shots really turned for Colorado. Was it a lack of forecheck?
That's not one thing. We had a really good start, a great start. We gave up 2 breakaways. We were up 1-0. We gave up 2 breakaways. All of a sudden, it's 2-1. That's going to knock you off your game a little bit, and we didn't recover consistently. For portions of the game, we did. We had a couple little pushes, but not in reality. For the entirety of the second and third period, did we really right the ship and get back into our game?
Dave, on the adjustments, Fool's game to read too much into what you see at morning skate in the playoffs, but it didn't look like you're anticipating a ton of dramatic lineup changes. Are the adjustments you're making more about sort of sticking with some of the things that have made you successful?
Yeah, in terms of, we don't have any drastic, lineup shuffling, that's going to go on. We have a couple interchangeable pieces. We do that in game, regardless of what the line chart looks like. We do that in game. So the adjustments aren't necessarily lineup wise. We're our group and our chemistry is pretty good. The roles that guys play is pretty clear. I think everybody understands that. The different things that we may or may not do during a game are probably things we've done before, somewhere in the past throughout the year. So mostly, for us, it's, as we get into the meat of this game, just doing the things that make us successful, and that's our group has a pretty clear understanding of those things.
There's the obvious in his goal Saturday night, but in any other ways have you seen Matty elevate his game in the playoffs?
No, Matty's doing the things that he's doing. I think he can. We talked about it. I mentioned the other day. I think everybody, can grow into this series. And continue to meet the moment of the intensity of the series. And I'm confident that Matty will continue to do that. There's a lot of ways that our team can be better and will need to be better to push through and be successful in this series.
On the power play, it seems like Colorado's being pretty aggressive in trying to make your zone entries difficult. What can you do to maybe make those be more efficient?
Well, their kill in general is very aggressive. They skate very well, and they push the envelope on the kill, not just on entry but also in zone. So, you've got to have a good plan getting into zone. You got to make sure you finish your routes, and then, regardless of, what tag or what label you want to put on it, you got to get in and win an initial puck battle. You got to find an outlet. You're going to have some puck speed to beat their pressure, and once you do, there's plays to be had.
Dave, as the series goes along, how much do you feel like you need to say to guys in the room, or do they kind of know where things stand as game by game, messaging wise, rallying wise, or as the series kind of goes along?
Well, guys know where we're at. I mean, that's part of the veteran group in there. We talk about, we talk about different things on game days. I believe in just knowing the reality of the situation. I think that's what empowers you. Knowing the truth of where you're at, what you did the night before, what you need to do a little bit better the next day, and then go out and execute and do it together. So, the conversations at this time of year aren't all that long, but they're to the point, and they're a very cohesive message, amongst our group. That's not just from the coaches to the group. That's in and amongst the group as well.
Dave, a high-scoring Game 3 after your club had been so solid, locked down defensively in the first two games of the series. Is it a tough balance when your team is at its best defensively playing aggressively to sort of find that?
No, it's not. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's not, because that's, we have, like I said, we have a blueprint of the way we play, but the goals that we gave up the other night weren't out of aggressiveness. We made mistakes, we made errors, and they took advantage of that. They've got, I talked about after the game, they got some world-class guys over there they're going to generate on their own, let alone if you give them, opportunities that, that they don't have to work as hard for as maybe they should, right? And, that's a part of it. I've talked to, a little bit about, being connected as a five-man group, and that's a bit of a tagline, but in reality, that's our process, right? It's not, we're not a one-man ship in any way, shape, or form. Everything we do has to be, five guys on the same page doing it together.
Do you need to do more damage, whether it's on the scoreboard or just in terms of stacking heavy shifts against some of the bottom end of their lineup?
Well, number one, their depth is really good. Their depth is good. I mean, you get to this time of year, every team's depth is good. Their depth is good. So, you're not gonna beat up on one part of anybody's lineup really at this time of year. For us, no. Do I think we have to score more? No. I think we've generated enough opportunities. Our issue the other night is what we gave up and how we gave it up. More importantly, sometimes the way you give it up rattles, and pushes you off your game as much as anything. So that was, in my opinion, that was a big issue for us 2 nights ago.